good evening. How you guys doing? I hope y'all are having an absolutely amazing, what day is it? Tuesday? An amazing Tuesday evening. And man, it's crazy. Just as this is being recorded, at least, it's a week before Christmas. So I'm sure that a lot of you have been either taking finals or are getting ready to finish your finals. And hopefully tonight's live stream, if you're listening to this live or watching this on replay, I really hope that this gives you, um, man, all I want for tonight is I want to give you guys some encouragement. I'm going to tell you a little bit about an experience that happened a few days ago, and really just how you can apply it. That's really what my goal is for tonight. And if you take that from this evening, then it would be worth it. So just interpret it as you may. But I've really been thinking a lot about it for the last few days, and I'm just excited to just share with you just some thoughts because I honestly believe that. Well, before I go into that, I want to say hello to Clarissa. I want to say hello to Alyssa. I want to say hello to Warren, Vince. Great to have you here, Ashton. Great to have you here. As you guys are hopping on, just give me like a little wave below or something to let me know that you guys are locked in and that you guys are doing well. But it's always great to see your names just pop up just because it shows me that you guys are just searching for more. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what happened this past Friday. But I think one of the biggest things before I share what the 5 points are that really apply to you guys is like I'm starting to understand one thing, and it's something that I heard. I didn't make this up. I'm never going to take credit for something that I did not make up. It was from one like I guess you call him one of my coaches. His name is Myron Golden, and he always says this line. If you guys are watching this live, I want you guys to comment this line below. Because I think it's one that is going to be important going into tonight's story and really into our lives as pre-PTs. And the line is this. He always says, what happens to you happens for you. So before I begin, just like if you guys wouldn't mind just writing that below so that if whoever like breezes past this later and just wants to look at the comments, because I sometimes do that on posts. I'll go and I'm like, man, I don't have enough time to watch the whole thing, but I'll look at people's comments to see if I can get enough clues as to what it was about. And if you guys wouldn't mind just commenting that for those people, what happens to you happens for you. And the weird thing about that statement has always been like, it just doesn't always seem to make sense because those things that happen to you usually some are good, some don't feel as great. But one thing I'm starting to realize is that regardless of what happens to us, it's like in hindsight, everything always builds us up to who we're going to become, right? So whether it's painful, for me, I'm going to tell you about my car accident that I had on Friday night. My car is like completely totaled. Y'all will hear the story in a few seconds. But what's up, Jerry? How you doing, brother? But he always says, what happens to you happens for you. And in understanding that, I was able to just like, well, really it's hard, but at least I'm starting to try in just everything that kind of sucks to just look at it and say, okay, like what could this have been like helping me become? Not necessarily that it was like a good experience. Like y'all, like I wouldn't dream of anyone getting into a car accident, but the honest truth is there were some gems that I learned from it, and I'm going to be sharing those with you tonight. And that's it. So I hope that's okay with you guys. If that's okay, just let me know below. But last Friday, for those of y'all that don't know who I am, I'm Joseph. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. We help students get into PT school really without wasting time or money because it's a beautiful profession and we want more amazing people in it. What's up, Natalie? How you doing? But Friday, I had actually left the PT clinic. I had finished doing a bunch of evaluations. It was a pretty long day in the clinic, and I was actually getting ready to go see my wife and meet up with her at the gym that we normally go to. On my way there, just what happened, like it all happened so quick, but the turn I was supposed to take on my left, I missed it. I was trying to look at my GPS and figure out, okay, like where else can I go? And I happened to be in a one-way. And so as I was going through the one-way, I looked from a distance before and I saw that the light was green. So I was like, all right, we're good. And as I got closer, as I was looking at my GPS, I looked up, the lights were transitioning. As I was halfway through the light, it had switched and then I looked to my left, and a car came and just like pummeled me over. And so I think they said that I was dragged about 25 feet. And if y'all missed it, I did share a picture yesterday. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? I did share a picture yesterday, and yes, it definitely totaled my car, and it did not look pretty at all. I've been getting a lot of messages today, and it's, but the biggest thing is, yes, I'm fine. I'm alive. Yes, that's why I'm doing this live stream. But it could have very easily gone the other direction. And so that very experience has just like, I've just been like, my brain's just been like processing and just like replaying, and I can still hear the car, like the sound that the collision made. I can still hear it. I like it's funny, like the day after, I actually walked into like our living room, and like I woke up, got out of our bedroom, walked into our living room, and asked my wife, I was like, do you smell that? And she's like, what? Like, well, like, for some reason, like when I walked into the living room, somehow it just triggered the memory from the night before, and I could smell what the inside of the car smelled like when it started, like when the airbags went off and everything. And for those of y'all that have been in any kind of major collision, you know exactly what that experience is like. Your adrenaline is definitely pumping, and but at the end of the day, it's just terrifying. It's terrifying because it happens so fast. It's terrifying because you can't prepare for it. It's terrifying because you're concerned about, everyone else involved. And to be honest, in that moment, I didn't even really care that my car was pretty much done for. And but definitely grateful that I was alive, that the other driver was alive and well. We both were good. At least at the moment, we felt good. Days after, you feel it more. But it's like I don't want to exaggerate it at all, and that's why I'm telling that story that way. I more so want to use this training to teach you what I have had a chance to kind of process. And if you've ever been in a situation like that, you're going to relate with some of these things. But I honestly believe that they apply so deeply to you as pre-PTs, because we're all humans at the end of the day, right? And as a pre-PT, we sometimes feel like the struggles we're going through are just our own, right? If you followed us, you know that we hit those a lot. Tonight, I'm not here to teach about that. I'm here to just encourage you and just share some thoughts with you. But a lot of those things, we usually feel like, man, this is just me going through it. This is just my own brain kind of psyching me out. But the honest truth is, we all go through them. The same fears, the same anxieties, the same frustrations, and they usually lead us to do very little that scares us. And it was after that accident, I sat on the side. What's up, Ariana? What's up, Kaylee? Kaylee, congratulations once again on getting accepted, fam. Congratulations. She's one of our accepted system winners. But I was sitting on the edge of the curb, and I was just like, I couldn't really think straight for a little bit. Yes, I was sharp and I could still communicate, but all I could think was, man, like, what if I had made a different decision? What if I had made the turn I was supposed to make before? What if so it started just kind of like, I was replaying everything, and I was like how could it have been prevented? Yes, I was grateful in the moment. Yes, I was excited that I was alive, that she was alive. But what I'm about to share with you are the 5 key things that after that experience have really allowed me to, like, going into this new week, like I have just like a little more energy. Like, y'all, like I'm usually high energy. And I know tonight I might just be sounding like I'm having a conversation because I'm just talking to my pre-PT friends. But the honest truth is, the first thing that I learned was this. The first thing was, we say this a lot, but this became so real. And it was the fact that we are like that accident was a direct result of the decisions that had been made beforehand. And like, part of it was my fault. Like, I mean, like, for thinking about the fact that I was looking at the GPS and everything, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Like, it could have been anybody's fault. It was decisions to not pay attention to where I was supposed to exit before, decisions to leave the clinic at the time. Everything is decisions. And the conclusions that we have right now are a direct result of decisions. And I think sometimes it's okay to admit that. This is something I've just kind of been going through. It's okay to admit, like whether they're good decisions, bad decisions, everything that you've decided from the moment you were in school, grade school, high school, decisions on people you wanted to hang out with. I realized that I made a pretty darn good decision on the woman I chose to marry. My wife is absolutely amazing, but everything is decisions. Everything is decisions, and for us, like that's literally how the accident happened. Like everything is this. Every car accident you ever see, that's just a series of decisions that were made by people. Good decisions, bad decisions. And as a pre-PT, it's important to understand that, because I think what ends up happening, and this is why I'm sharing all this for you tonight, is I want you guys to learn something from this. What ends up happening a lot is we struggle as pre-PTs when we look back and we say, man, oh, my GPA is to this, man. Like we look at the conclusion and we're like, shoot, like I can't help it. Shoot, like I don't know if you guys have ever felt that. And I know that. What's up, Gabby? How you doing? But we always tell ourselves like, man, like I can't control this. And the honest truth is, everything has been a direct result of decisions we've made. Some were bad. Cool. Some were great. Cool. Like the decision to start asking for help. So some of you have already started looking for guidance. Some of you have already, like, whether it's like through pre-PT grind, whether it's through like someone else that you know that might already be in PT school, whatever it is, those were good decisions. Some bad decisions may have been, maybe partying a little too much when you should have been studying and it kind of affected your grade. Maybe not choosing a time to find someone to help you while you were like, y'all, listen, everything is decisions and we have to be okay with owning up to it. If y'all are still listening to me, just say own up to it. Because I'm going somewhere tonight, y'all. Like, I'm not just coming here to just tell a little fluff story. Like I want y'all, like, comment below, own up to it. Because that's the first step to resolving anything. Why do I say that? Well, so the officer came. Officer came after the accident and was asking questions. If, like, in most situations, everyone just deflects. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Like, y'all, I told the officer my fault in it. Like, I didn't say the other person's fault in it. Like, it wasn't my place. Like, all I said was, hey, officer, I was looking at my GPS. This is what, like, there was no time to, like, there was no time to just say, oh, well, let me just create this story. Let me sound like this angel that I am. No, that would have been ignoring the decisions that I had made. At that point, I already knew that we were both good, right? I knew that, yes, like both of us had a part to play in it, but I had to own up to the decisions I made. I had to own up to the decision that, like, I had not, like, chosen the right exit beforehand. The decision that I had not planned out my route. Well, okay, cool. Like the fact that I was in the middle of an intersection as the lights were transitioning. Well, I could have avoided that if I had not been looking at the GPS. So those were decisions. But so many times we're ready to play innocent and victimize ourselves, and we completely disregard the decisions that have led to where we are. Every decision. Low grades. Those were decisions. They were. Like, y'all, I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying this to be real. Like, y'all, if we're not real about this stuff, how can we actually fix problems? If we're not real about this stuff, how can we actually set ourselves up as pre-PTs to absolutely dominate? Yo, we're all, like, when we're looking for advice, here's the mistake that most of us make. When we're looking for advice, what we normally do is we say, okay, so who can help me cover up all of my decisions? Isn't that what we're usually looking for? Isn't that what we're looking for? What do you mean decision, Joseph? Well, decisions to wait until the last minute to look for guidance. Decisions to unplug yourself and isolate yourself just because you were terrified of a result and then come back in saying, I don't know what happened. Okay, cool. Those were all decisions. Life is a series of decisions. But if you're not ready to own up to it, you might not be ready to achieve the very thing you want. If you're not ready to own up to the decisions you have made. Oh my God, yeah, I'm about to go in today. But and we're only at point number one. Like if we're not willing to own up to it, then like what's the point? Like for example, like in the accepted system, right? Like Casey and I decided that from now on for the accepted system, people have to apply to get into the program because we realized like shoot, if students just come in, there are students that will come into the program just to make it another excuse. Like they'll literally come into the program just to make another excuse. Hey, I tried something. Not ready to realize that everything that they have done up until that point, they should just take full extreme pre-PT ownership is literally the key. That they should take ownership of it and then say, hold up, if I'm taking ownership, here's the key. If I'm taking ownership of the decisions I've made until this point, then I can also take ownership of the decisions that I make from here on out. If I have the guts enough to acknowledge the decisions, forget mistakes. I think sometimes we're so quick to label it, it's a bunch of decisions. Sometimes you knew it was the wrong decision. Sometimes you didn't. You just made it, right? Like if I decide to do something, half the time I might not know whether it's right or wrong. Later on, I'll find out whether it was right or wrong. When I'm in school, I may feel like the best decision is to blend in. So I'm gonna go every weekend and just get my party on and all that stuff, and then get screwed over on my exams. Now I got D's on my exams. Now I'm saying, oh my goodness, I don't know if okay, those were decisions. Cool. Now, can we then own up to those and then say, shoot, what decisions can I now take ownership of moving forward? Here's how to know whether you're actually owning up to your decisions or not. If you're finding yourself blaming other people for where you're at, you have not taken ownership of your decisions. If that cop had showed up and I was like, hey, she did this, well, cool. I wasn't owning up to the decisions I made. Y'all, my car was trash. Like, y'all, go look at the picture. Like, the driver's side is completely like pummeled in. Like, I'm not driving that car again. I have a rental right now. Like I'm surprised that I'm moving around. Does that make sense? But I had to own up to my decisions. So if, as a pre-PT, if you're finding yourself saying some of these things, I'm just saying things tonight, y'all. I'm not selling y'all nothing. I'm just teaching. So if you're finding yourself saying, man, that teacher, oh man, chemistry, that teacher was just this. Okay, you're not owning up to your decisions. What's up, Jay Douglas? How you doing, brother? Okay, so if you're finding yourself saying, oh my goodness, that semester, my boss, like that PT, that clinic. Well, you're not owning up to your decisions. You're not owning up to the fact that everything that has led you to where you are right now has been a series of decisions that you have made, good or bad. Own up to them. People who are not able to own up to those things really aren't ready for success. They're not. Like, it might stumble upon them, but they're not ready for it. That's like literally owning up to literally owning up to every decision is 100% correlated with someone who is growing through their pain so that they can get to the point where they're actually ready to receive success. Why do you think, I'm about to say some stuff. Why do you think certain celebrities get rich really, really fast, but can't handle it? They didn't have opportunity to grow in the process. They didn't have the opportunity to own their mistakes. They didn't have to own their decisions along the way. People who had the opportunity to grow through the process are able to maintain that. Those are the people that have legacies. David's got it right on the money. Stop taking a victim mindset. Accept responsibility. Own it. Own it. To be honest with you, maybe you've had it all twisted. Maybe you thought that owning up to it meant that you would be weak. Maybe you thought owning up to it puts you in a position to feel like, oh man, now people are gonna notice that I didn't do this. Well, the honest truth is, let's be real. I'm telling y'all my story so y'all can realize we're all we've all screwed up along the way, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's why we use other people and grow through their decisions, good and bad. But you have to be ready to own up to it. Paul says you win where you are, not where you pretend to be. Owning up to the decisions allows us to be transparent with ourselves. That's where we grow. That's where we win. If that first point makes sense, I want y'all to just comment makes sense. Because tonight, I believe that when you're teaching, the best way to learn is just to use a lot of different senses. And so if you're listening and you're also writing, it just kind of helps you solidify it. Because I know there are too many pre-PTs right now in 2019 that are not ready to own their decisions. And they're so ready. I'm not saying it's you. That's why I'm using the word they, right? Like I'm not saying it's you. But if it is you, then I hope you're listening right now and saying, I have to change the way I'm thinking about this whole process. If I'm catching myself blaming everybody else, I haven't owned up to anything. And I might not be ready to actually receive the success that I want. Number 2. That hit, I haven't really been in an accident before. I've never been in a car accident before. I'm not a crazy risk taker. So never really done anything like jumping out of a plane yet. My wife wants me to. I'm terrified of heights. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm scared of heights. Jumping out of a plane, literally thinking about jumping out of a plane, makes my heart speed up 2 times fast, right? Watching videos of people on YouTube jumping out of a plane terrifies me. Thinking about bungee jumping gives me a hernia. I'm just not a fan of heights. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I usually don't do things that are physically risky. I'll do other stuff, but physically risky, it's just not my thing. So I've never, this was the first time that I've been in a position where I was like, yo, if that car was just a little faster, if that hit was a little harder, that could have been it. And I've never had to process that before. And I think I'm actually saying this out loud for the first time. I didn't really want to say that around my family just because that kind of causes other thoughts and I don't want to have that. But it was the first time I had to kind of have that reality and know that it could go away like this. And the question I've been asking myself this weekend is, if it was done on Friday, did I feel like I had done what I was supposed to do? Did I feel like I had done enough? Did I feel like I had given everything that I'm doing, everything I have? And the real answer was no. I was not ready to go yet at all. And I'm not saying this to be morbid at all. It's just that sometimes it's good to have that conversation with yourself before you have to have an experience like that. And what it does is it almost creates a level of, I guess, urgency is a word that I could use. But what it does, it almost clears the lens for you, where you're able to decide, are the decisions I'm making, because we just talked about owning to decisions, are the decisions that I'm making a byproduct of me being terrified of what might go wrong? Am I delaying things because I'm scared of what might go wrong? Am I holding off this because I'm oh, well, I don't think I'm ready to apply, so I'm just going to hold it off? Am I playing scared? If it was your time, would you feel like you were capitalizing on every moment? Were you being urgent? And the honest truth is, I think I've done an okay job. But it actually challenged me to say, yo, Joseph, you don't know. Thing is, especially when we're young, we think we have all this time on the earth. We think we have till we're 80, 90. Now they got health that'll, health products and stuff and whatever, surgeries that'll keep us alive till whenever. But the honest truth is, you really don't know. It can be anything. And if that means anything to you, then my next point is the value of urgency. The value of having urgency. And urgency means not just doing things frantically. No, that's carelessness. Urgency means that you're putting everything you have into everything you desire to accomplish, regardless of whether you're scared of the results or not. And the unfortunate truth is, as pre-PTs, most of y'all are playing scared. It's okay to be scared, but you're playing scared, which means that you're failing to take certain actions because you're terrified. Exactly, Paul. Intentional urgency. And it kind of goes back to like whether it's being a pre-PT. Obviously, I'm applying it to being a pre-PT because y'all are pre-PTs. But this applies to everything in your life. This applies to the relationships you have in your life. This applies to the activities you like to do for fun. This applies to the work environment you have right now. Are you like do you care? Like, are you just doing it to occupy time? Are you doing it because you're like, this is the safest route? To be honest with you, like, going the safest route usually means that we're too scared to go the route that we know we should be going. Going the safe route looks like, hey, Joseph, I know that physical therapy is what I want, but my family thinks that I should hold off because it just doesn't feel like the right time. So I'm gonna do something else because it's safer. It's more immediate in terms of cash flow. Sorry, it's more immediate in terms of cash flow. It'll support my family better, and it's a decent enough win that they'll support me. And then you kind of deceive yourself into thinking, oh, well, I'll do it later. Y'all, like, the right time isn't coming. I mean, we already know that. But I think we sometimes lie to ourselves. And so my question to you is, as a pre-PT, are you playing urgent? If this is what you want, like, at least for this, like, are you playing urgent? Are the actions you're taking showing more fear? Fear that is limiting you, or fear that is, like, there, but you're deciding to push through it? I don't know if you guys saw the interview I did on Sunday night. Did an interview on Sunday night with one of our students from the accepted system, and Alex was talking about the fact that she literally left a job. Like, it's crazy. Like she left a job where, like, she was a non-traditional student. She had been 8 years out of school. Like, if y'all missed it, please go back. It's from Sunday night. Go watch the live stream. And Alex literally left the job where it was a good paying job. Like, her family was like, what are you doing? Like, a good paying job, like, very stable, knowing that if she went back to pursue PT, because of how many years she was out from school, she would have to retake most of the classes, knowing that she was also, like, not 21. So she was like, man, like, there's a big difference between the students that were coming out from college, going straight to PT school, and where she was. And she was like, man, like, this, it literally was such a big risk that, well, in the eyes of her family, that the only person that supported her was her husband. That was the only person. Like, every single person in her family literally felt like she was going the other direction. But she decided, and the honest truth is, in their eyes, it was a foolish decision. But the fact that she's about to start PT school in 3 weeks solidifies the fact that she actually went for what she wanted, went through the fear, because she was terrified. She says it. She was nervous as well. Shoot, if the people that you love are literally like saying, go the other direction, it'll lead you to second thing. And so she went for what she wanted. She played urgent. Every decision was urgent. I mean, she got coaching from us. That was urgency, focused, locked in urgency. But every move mattered. Are you playing in a way that if your day was now, you would have been able to look back, or people would be able to look at your life and say, they played so urgent, like, they literally gave everything they had to every moment until the day they were gone. So for me, like, that means, like, serving you guys, right? So I'm a physical therapist, but I'm also a pre-PT coach. So for me, I have to ask myself, am I doing enough? Even with pre-PT grad, am I doing enough to make sure that the new generation of physical therapists is served? That's y'all. I think we were doing a pretty good job, but I don't think it was enough yet. So now the questions are, what do I have to do more? How can I empower them more? How can Casey and I work? Like, how? Those are the questions I'm asking. Urgency. Urgency, and then I want to add another word to that second point, focus. What you focus on expands. I want y'all to comment that below. Like, comment that below. What you focus on expands. If you focus on all the things that are going to go wrong, they will expand. And they will, like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It 100% is. If I'm focusing on, man, this is what is going to go wrong with this application process, well, that will expand. That is your self-fulfilling prophecy. So the honest truth is, like, you can't really be surprised when it turns out to happen the way you had anticipated it to happen. What you focus on expands. If you're focused on what could possibly go right, well, the honest truth is you're going to start asking questions about how can I make sure that this goes right? How can I make sure this? How can I make sure that? And that becomes like your direction. And that's why students that like are non-traditional, that's why students that have had extremely low GPAs, Ben Kim, 2.4. That's why students like Ariana, who have been rejected 2 years in a row, are in PT school right now. That's why they were still able to get to the other side, because most people focus on the wrong thing. What you focus on expands. It's just how life works. If I focus on looking at all the amazing things in my wife, guess what? I'm gonna see more amazing things in my wife. And it actually helps our relationship even more. Yo, what you focus on expands. So are you playing urgent as a pre-PT? If you're not, well, I would highly, I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you. I can tell y'all that I'm playing even more urgent now. And I can tell you that my focus is now even sharpening up even more than what it was before. Because I now understand that what I focus on expands. And I know that we don't know how long our clock is for either one of us. Number 3, the power of true gratitude. Gratitude is something that we use very loosely, and it's kind of like cliches, right? Like a friend of mine once told me that cliches are profound statements that have lost significance because they've just been used too much. And I feel like gratitude is becoming that, unfortunately. Except for the gratitude, like gratitude is like a secret weapon in everything. And gratitude, like I was remembering something that a friend, like another coach of mine had said, is like gratitude is simply being aware. Write that below. Comment that below. Being aware. Gratitude is simply being aware. When I wake up in the morning, I'm aware of the fact that I wake up in the morning. When I get to like say goodbye to my wife in the morning, I'm aware of the fact that like I'm in love with her, and so I'm going to acknowledge that and say I love you. I'm going to give her a kiss. Like I'm going to be very aware of that. Like I'm like when you're driving to work or school or anything like that, are you aware of your surroundings, the weather, aware? Like most people literally live asleep. They're sleepwalking. They're not aware. People who usually tell you that everything that like is going wrong, well, that everything in their life is wrong, well, they're not aware of the things that are going right. There's no awareness. They woke up that morning, that's why they're having that conversation with you, but they weren't aware of it. They know they did. It's like, oh yeah, it's just another day. Well, they weren't aware of it. They weren't aware of the fact that that did not happen to other people. They weren't aware of the fact that literally on some intersection, it could have been gone like that and they would have not had that opportunity. Well, Saturday morning when I woke up, I was aware. And that awareness creates such a profound level of appreciation for everything that you do, for everyone that you interact with, and even your journey as a pre-PT. The unfortunate truth is that most of y'all are really not that aware. You're not. It's because you're human. But when we're able to be aware of everything that's going well, when we're able to focus on that, then that becomes what we should hold on to. That's what empowers us to continue pushing as pre-PTs. Because like if y'all haven't known by now, like the purpose of us even doing pre-PT grind is 100% to make sure, yes, we help y'all get into PT school without wasting time or money. Yes, like that is what we do. But the honest truth is, our goal is to make sure y'all don't quit. And we're going to do everything in our power, because at the end of the day, you have a decision to make as to whether you'll quit or not. But everything in our power, we're going to do to make sure you don't quit. And part of that is making sure that y'all are just aware of all the do y'all realize that like the frustrations y'all have experienced so far are the very things that make you so amazing at what you do. They're the things that allow you to empathize more with other people that you like experience life with, whether it's other pre-PTs. Do you realize like have you ever thought, whoo, I'm about to go in. Have you ever thought about the fact that you struggling through the GRE 5 times? Have you ever thought about the fact that you struggling to like get barely a C in classes? Have you ever thought about the fact that like you applying and getting rejected and applying and getting rejected and finally getting in is actually setting you up to inspire another generation of future physical therapists? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the fact that your blessing is on the other side of the very thing that you curse right now? The very thing you're about to give up on because it's getting too hard. Y'all, listen, it's hard anyway. Like, this ain't easy. Like, PT school ain't easy. Being a pre-PT ain't easy. Giving up on your dream and living a life that you didn't want to live in the first place ain't easy. Pick what level of difficulty you want. Pick. These are choices we have to make. Maybe what you needed to hear in that was that it's important for you to go through what you're going through right now. Yes, own up to the decisions you've made. Yes. But it's important for you to go through it because somebody else will go through it too. And just by them seeing you get on the other side, it might be everything they need. Shoot, your experience might be what gives you confidence in knowing that you can empathize with your future patients. Like we could go down the list. But remember that statement I said at the beginning of the live stream? What happens to you happens for you. Maybe y'all might need to write that down somewhere in one of your, like, you know, your mirror or something. Like those experiences define you. But you have the ability to say, I want to take ownership of everything that has led me here. I also want to take ownership of the fact that this is like, this doesn't define me, but this is something that I have to go through as a pre-PT. Because when I get out on the other side, the things that I'll be able to use that for to continue pushing me along, man, like it's like you can't even like pay somebody enough to give you that experience. The next point is go at it again. I want y'all to comment that below. What's up, Kristen? What's up, Andrew? How you doing, brother? Go at it again. I'll explain it. And I'm almost done with the live stream. But comment that below. Go at it again. For those of y'all that are just joining us now, I'm talking about the key points that I have learned over the past weekend that apply to pre-PTs after getting into a pretty bad car accident. And the picture is in the group somewhere. But and if you came here late, feel free to go and listen to this replay afterwards. But the next point for every single one of you is go at it again. I want y'all to comment that because I think somebody needs to hear that one. Somebody needs to hear that one tonight. Go at it again. Go at it again. What do you mean by that, Joseph? So I didn't drive on Saturday. So Friday, accident happened. I didn't drive on Saturday. I've never been in an accident like that. Everything was still like fresh. Like I could still hear the car. I could still smell everything. Like it was all still very much ingrained. Sunday, because I had to be at the clinic on Monday, we went and got like a rental car because insurance does that, right? Like while they're figuring out their stuff, they give you a rental car. So I like part of me was like, like I hadn't touched the car since, right? So in my head is like what's gonna happen? Like how's my thought process going to be? And I remember getting into the car that we were renting, and I was telling my wife, I was like, I'm good. You know, I was playing it cool the whole weekend, right? I was like, no, I'm good. But I'll be honest with you, like I was pretty shaky inside the car after, like as soon as I got in the car, I was pretty shaky. Mainly because the last memories you remember, like, are just you getting into a wreck, right? And so I was kind of nervous. I was, and like on the highway, it wasn't as bad because it's a little more open and you're going one direction. But at intersections, I noticed that I was like hyper aware because the accident had happened at an intersection. And so I was hyper, like super, super aware. Like, and for the past few days I have been. But I did it. I drove home from the car rental place. I drove to the clinic. The clinic literally is a 45-minute drive in the morning. I drove to the clinic on Monday. Actually went to the workout that I was supposed to go to on Friday after work on Monday. did that. Like literally, like I did. And the only thing I could think was like, regardless of how terrifying it was, well, the honest truth is, like, you have to go at it again. The hardest part for us as pre-PTs is we're not used to, like, we're not good at interpreting like failure. Like it's just a temporary defeat. That's all it is. But you have to go at it again. If you want to win, you have to go at it again. If you're retaking a class right now, good, you're going at it again. But if you have to retake a class, you have to go at it again. If you got rejected already and you're trying to figure out what your next move is, well, the honest truth is, if this is what you really want, you have to go at it again. You have to go at it again. If your GREs be giving you a hard time, you have to go at it again. If you've been second guessing yourself and deciding to choose, well, the honest truth is, like, everything we want, like, it doesn't come to us on a silver platter. It never will. I think it's some, like, we invent that in our head. It's not how it works. But the bravest thing that any single one of y'all can do is just go at it again. And the honest truth is, it's the most terrifying thing. Yes, you'll be pretty shaky. Like, it'll be terrifying. It'll be, because all you can think of is like, well, the last time I did this, Joseph, I got rejected. I remember how I felt when I got that rejection letter. I remember how it was when I took chem, or when I took bio, or when I took physics and I got a D in it, or I got an F in it. I remember what it was like to go that entire semester, put in the work, and then get on the other side. Well, the honest truth is, if you really want it, you have to decide to go at it again. Now, you don't have to go at it alone, but you do have to go at it again. And I don't know if that's something that you needed to hear, but perseverance is essential. And the honest truth is, y'all, like, I literally feel like perseverance, gratitude, those are words we use a lot, but it's like let's just be real. It's extremely difficult when you're in the brunt of it. It was extremely, like, as I'm telling y'all this story, some of y'all have never been in a car accident and you're like, Joseph, just get in the car, just drive it. Come on, just be safe next time. Well, the honest truth is, unless you're in it, it's kind of hard to empathize with it. And it's the same with your experience. Sometimes you might be like, man, it was hard to go through a semester where I worked my tail off and I didn't get the grades I wanted. It was hard to go through an application cycle and have to go through and feel like, oh my goodness, I thought I did what I could, but I didn't get accepted. It's hard to then hear someone else who doesn't necessarily understand what you're going through telling you, oh, just do it again. You got it. You got it. Well, we use it loosely, but when you're going through it, it's the bravest thing you can do. And while it is terrifying, you have to do it. Paul says it's hard to overcome that fear, and sometimes you just need people who get it so that you can find courage from their experience. I agree with you, Paul. Go at it again. And so tonight, if anything, I really hope you don't quit. I really hope that as a pre-PT, you just start going at this whole process with urgency. I really hope that you start owning up to the decisions that you have made up until this point. Not to see yourself as a victim, but to actually be able to absorb it and say, in the same way that I can own up to the decisions, good, bad, and ugly, leading up to this point, I can own up to every decision I make from here on out. Don't let other people just make them for you, especially when they don't know what's going on, or if they've never been on the journey that you're trying to get on, or the journey that you're currently on. But don't quit. Don't quit. And that's really what I wanted to share tonight. Like I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to make sure that I was sharing with y'all what my biggest takeaways were. And I'd love to know, out of tonight's live stream, for those of y'all that have watched from the beginning, what your biggest takeaway was. What your big aha was. And I'm about to end this live stream, but even after I'm done, just comment below. What was your big aha? What was the one thing that you said, you know what, Joseph? I get it. I haven't been owning up to my decisions. I've seen them as, oh, well, the school did this, the professor did this. I've been pointing fingers at other people. And if you still are, as long as you admit that that's what you've been doing, well, then we can actually take steps in the right direction. And if you're not willing to admit it, well, you're going to be stuck. I'm just going to be out. Like, I'll be upfront. I will be 100% upfront. So maybe for you, that's what it was. Maybe for you, it was to say, maybe I'm not playing urgent enough. I'm playing scared. I'm playing scared and deciding to not actually take strides and be brave and push through everything that I'm afraid of. Maybe I'm not being aware enough. I'm focusing on all the things that could possibly go wrong or all the things that have gone wrong, and I'm not actually aware of the things that I should be grateful for. I'm not focused. Because what I focus on expands. And then lastly, like maybe I've been considering not going at it again. And if that's you, then I'm glad you're on this live stream. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, I'm glad you're listening to this as a podcast. But going into 2020, these are the things we're all going to fix. These are all the things, like, because we're stepping into 2020 understanding that as pre-PTs, we are coming to get into the profession that we have all dreamed of. If this is what you want, let's go freaking get it. And I can tell you this, that from our side at Pre-PT Grind, myself, Casey, our team, we're going to do everything in our power to give you every opportunity to do that regardless of what your struggle has been. That's actually why we created the Acceptance Navigator series. I actually see the link there, www.acceptancenavigator.com. If you have not gone there, go. Like literally go there like right after this. Because as a pre-PT, once you take ownership, well, we might as well take control of everything else moving forward and actually give you control over your acceptance. I don't even think y'all realize you could do that. Have the ability to have control over your acceptance, not blaming anybody else, playing urgent, being focused on the things that actually matter, being grateful along the way and realizing, yo, I can actually go at it again, but with clarity, with guidance, with help. We call it the acceptance driver's seat. It's our little, like it's the acceptance driver's seat where you can actually navigate and get yourself to the other side. But you've been holding yourself short. You've been playing scared and you've been pointing fingers at everybody else. It's time to take ownership as pre-PTs. That's what the profession needs. That's what pre-PTs, if that is you, who are strong, that's what every single one of us needs to get on the other side. So if that's you, I hope tonight was helpful. I hope this live stream was helpful. But I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway was. And I also hope that you have an amazing rest of your evening. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Bye.